Hi, my name's John Lauler. I'm here with Play and Trade Guitars to talk to you about Fender's Player 2 P-Bass. The last time I reviewed these, they were in their first round. This is the second round, and I'm just as impressed. I do appreciate some of the improvements that they've made, and I just think the overall quality of the bass and the price point are very well aligned, and you're kind of getting what you pay for, which is really nice. So out of the box, I did have to make a few adjustments. With this level of bass, I'm always expecting to adjust these two things. Definitely adjusting the truss rod out of the box, and may have to make some intonation adjustments, which I consider, the string height part of that too, just bridge adjustments in general. And I did have to do that with this bass. And I was a little bit worried, honestly, because when the bass came in, the neck was pretty bowed. And bowed to the amount where I'm like, okay, what's this going to be like? And it actually came together pretty quickly, which I'm impressed by. After making those two adjustments, both neck and intonation, a little bit of string height, I definitely felt like this bass became remarkably playable pretty quickly. And I don't feel like the need to take it into one of my luthiers or more adjustment. I don't think it's necessary at this point. The frets are nice. They feel nice and smooth. Basses like this remind me of bass players like Tom Fowler or Patrick O'Hearn. Those busier bass players on P basses. I think a lot of times P basses get, clunked into that category of like, you can't do it all on a P bass. And I'm usually the first one to argue that point with bass players like that, Patrick O'Hearn and Tom Fowler, because they were just shredding on those basses in those Zappa bands. And you can see videos of them too, that Roxy documentary and the Baby Snakes with Patrick O'Hearn, who's playing like a fretless P bass, and he's just like killing it on those videos. So this bass reminds me a lot of them. It's a bass that I feel like I can get that true deep tone out of. And a lot of balance, a lot of low end on here, a lot of high end. But it is indeed a little bit easier to play this puppy than, one of my 70s basses, my 70p bass. Definitely a little bit easier to get around here. So the pickups I'd like to mention before we move on. I'm impressed by them. There's a lot of power in them. There's a lot of output coming from these passive pickups, which I'm always looking for, especially because it provides better response and tracking from pedals. So there is a lot of power coming out of here. However, they are a bit noisy. And I think you can probably pick up on a lot of that just in the track. And that's something to consider. Because of that, this bass would probably most likely be one of my road basses. If I were to pick it up, it'd be easy for me to throw this in a flight case and not sweat it so much at that price point. But it definitely wouldn't be a bass I would consider when I'm having to DI more without some kind of noise blocker or noise canceller. So not my first grab for things like theater gigs or studio dates. But this is an easy bass for me to consider for road dates and stuff like that. It's got a great tone, and it's got that 60s feel. Cool, so this bass, you know, a lot of balance. Really impressed by the amount of clarity and range with these pickups. A little on the noisy side, but ultimately the playability at this $850 to $900 price point range, I think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, and I would be more tempted to buy a Fender at this price point if it were a newer model than some of their more expensive newer models. And you know, you can always trick it out and do all sorts of things to these basses, but you're just getting such a good deal. I think of these basses as you know, kind of like when you go to K&G and you buy a suit from there, you know, you're getting a great deal. You're getting a suit though that you might have to get tailored a little bit to really make it work. But here, you know, this is that lucky K&G buy where maybe you don't have to do as much to that suit as you maybe thought you had to. And that Player series continues to impress me for that reason. In order to demonstrate just how much I appreciate this kind of bass, I'd love to play for you some Chicago blues. That's what this bass makes me feel like playing.